Neon signs flickered in bold letters around the arena. Pre-season friendly. Metro United versus City Lions. Players from both teams jogged out for the start of the second half, adrenaline thrumming through the crisp evening air. One figure in particular stormed onto the grass like a raging bull. Lucas Pieretti, the star striker for Metro United. Lucas was a study in ice and fire. His expression was perpetually set in a scowl of fierce concentration. His dark hair was trimmed close to his head in a simple, no-fuss style that reflected the direct, no-nonsense approach he brought to every match. He had earned a reputation as the unstoppable, ruthless forward who played each game as though it were a life-or-death struggle. At 26, he was at the peak of his athletic prime, and the broad set of his shoulders and well-muscled thighs spoke volumes about his years of disciplined training.
He scanned the pitch, jaw clenched. Pre-season matches often provided chances for new talent to debut or shine. Tonight, a new face on Metro United's bench had caught the spectators' curiosity, even overshadowing the typical attention on Lucas. A rookie forward from overseas, rumored to be a blazing prodigy, was about to step onto the field for his first major showing. A whistle screeched. The referee halted the game to allow substitutions. Across the green, a lean figure stepped in, eyes bright with excitement and lips curved in a faint grin. He was slightly shorter than Lucas, but moved with feline grace. His jet-black hair, styled in artfully messy spikes, grazed the nape of his neck, brushing over a bold slash of shaved pattern near his temples. That was Ryuu Nakamura, the rookie Metro United had signed from Japan's top youth academy. A clash of auras. Lucas only gave Ryuu a brief once-over, but that single glance bristled with unspoken tension. The team staff had lauded Ryuu's technique, praising him to the skies, as if they'd found the world's greatest hidden gem. Lucas had read the news articles. The next rising star, or prodigy, emerges in the East. They heralded him with breathless excitement. But rather than feeling threatened, Lucas's pride twisted into scorn. He didn't believe in lofty proclamations. On the field, your performance was your only proof. While Ryuu jogged into position, Lucas barked at a midfielder for a quick pass. He didn't even bother to glance at his new teammate. "I'll do my job. That kid can fend for himself," he thought. If the rookie wanted to prove he was special, he could do it by contributing. Lucas refused to ease up. No fancy newcomer was going to overshadow him in a matter of mere weeks. The second half began in earnest. The City Lions pressed hard, but Metro United held strong. Lucas found himself upfield, body angled in anticipation of the next pass. His gaze flicked to the side. Ryuu hovered near the penalty box, calling for the ball with an authoritative wave of his arm. In an uncharacteristic moment, the central midfielder passed to Ryuu first. The choice rankled Lucas, but he braced himself for an assist. No sooner did Ryuu receive the ball than he pulled off a spectacular dribble, flicking the ball behind his left foot, feinting right and dancing past the City Lions defender as if he were made of air. The crowd roared. Even through the tension in his chest, Lucas could register the skill. Ryuu's footwork was fluid, almost like a show, more reminiscent of street soccer than the structured professional league. Yet just when it seemed perfect to cross to Lucas, who was in a prime scoring position, Ryuu went for an unexpected trick. He lobbed the ball from the outside of his foot straight toward the far post. It was an attempted shot that soared wide by a few inches, bouncing off the net behind the goal. A stunning attempt, but ultimately unsuccessful. Fury flashed in Lucas's eyes. "Idiot!" he snarled under his breath. Ryuu had chosen to go for personal glory, ignoring a straightforward pass. As the ball flew out of bounds, Lucas whipped around, glaring. Their eyes met. Ryuu's filled with a spark of rebellious energy, Lucas's with simmering anger. The tension was so palpable that a defender from City Lions glanced between them, half amused, half curious. On the sidelines, the Metro United coach frowned. He needed these two to work together. That was the entire game plan for the upcoming season. Adjusting to the spark, The final score ended in a frustrating draw, with neither Lucas nor Ryuu managing to land a decisive blow. After the whistle, Lucas stormed into the locker room, sweat beading along his brow. His fists clenched, nails digging into his palms as he fought the urge to unleash a tirade. He prided himself on keeping an icy composure, letting his feats on the field do the talking. But inside, a fuse was lit. He heard footsteps behind him. Ryuu. The newcomer had the audacity to grin as if that performance had been a resounding success. Without a word, Lucas snatched his towel and turned to face him. "Thought you were something special, huh?" Lucas's voice was low, simmering. Ryuu flicked sweat-damp hair off his forehead. "I tried to make a play," he replied, his accent laced with crisp precision, a subtle swirl of English and Japanese. "If it had gone in, we would have won." "But it didn't," Lucas shot back. He narrowed his eyes. "And the easy pass was open. That's what a teammate does. They read the pitch for the best opportunity. You've got raw skill, sure, but you lack sense." Ryuu tensed. "Don't lecture me." Lucas crossed his arms. "A rookie with no humility is a burden. We're a team, not a playground for your stunts." That comment flicked a spark in Ryuu's gaze. "You think I don't know that? You think because you've been the star forward for so long, no one can challenge you?" Lucas's blood roiled. "I'm not threatened by showboating. I just want you to pull your weight correctly." They stood there, glaring, hearts pounding with anger and a strange underlying excitement they both refused to acknowledge. Finally, Ryuu exhaled, turned on his heel, and strode toward the showers. Lucas watched him go, irritation swirling in his head like a relentless storm. Tension in the air. The next morning brought a new day of training at Metro United's state-of-the-art facility, but the undercurrent of tension from the match had not dissipated. Word spread fast through the team about the friction between their established star striker and the brash newcomer. The coaches had their work cut out for them. Lucas arrived early, as he always did. The facility was sprawling. A main turf field outdoors, multiple smaller practice fields, a gym area with top-notch equipment, and a rehabilitation wing. He parked himself in the weight room, going through a grueling regimen that included squats and weighted lunges. He wiped sweat from his brow, completing each set with a determined final push. When he walked out to the practice pitch, he spotted Ryuu already juggling a ball at the far end, seamlessly weaving it from one foot to the other. A part of Lucas grudgingly admired Ryuu's incredible ball control, though he'd never show it. Instead, he approached the sideline, where the head coach, Hassan, was waiting with arms folded. "Morning, Lucas," Hassan said. He was a thick-set man whose presence demanded respect. "We've got a busy schedule this season. We can't have our top forwards butting heads." Lucas let a small breath out. "I'm focused on my training, nothing else." The coach eyed him. "You should learn from each other instead of letting your personalities clash. Ryuu's young, and he plays with unorthodox creativity. You can complement that." He tried to keep his expression neutral, but tension tightened Lucas's shoulders. "I understand, Coach. I'll do what's best for the team." Hassan nodded, though a flicker of worry lingered in his eyes. "We need synergy, Lucas. You're the senior. Show him the ropes." Lucas gave a terse nod, ignoring a swirl of reluctance. He could handle forging a partnership on the field, but Ryuu's attitude was a different story. The first sparks of teamwork. At training drills, the friction was on full display. The assistants had set up a series of drills designed to improve passing accuracy and off-ball movement. The highlight of the morning: pair up in twos, dribble around cones, and pass the ball fluidly before taking a shot on a mini-goal. Of course, Lucas was paired with Ryuu. As soon as they lined up, there was an unspoken battle. Ryuu spun around the first set of cones, flicking the ball in a showy pattern, forcing Lucas to scramble to catch his pass. Lucas scowled, answering with ruthless speed, accelerating as though to prove he didn't need fancy footwork to be superior. Their first shots soared wide of the small goal, narrowly missing the target. The coach's whistle blasted. Again! They repeated the circuit. This time, Ryuu toned down the tricks, delivering a sharper, more controlled pass. Lucas reciprocated by reading Ryuu's position better, returning the ball just before the final shot. The ball zipped into the top corner of the net. The assistant coach blew his whistle, praising them. "Huh," Ryuu muttered under his breath. "Not bad." Lucas didn't respond, but part of him felt a strange surge of satisfaction. There was potential in their interplay, like flint and steel, creating sparks. If harnessed, it could become a formidable fire. And so it continued. Antagonistic tension mixed with fleeting moments of brilliance. The rest of the team watched from a distance, half impressed, half exasperated. If these two could get on the same wavelength, Metro United might just be unstoppable, an unwanted bond. After practice, Lucas trudged off the pitch, towing a sports bag heavy with gear. He wasn't one to loiter. In the hallway leading to the locker rooms, he nearly collided with Ryuu, who was leaning against a wall, scrolling on his phone. Ryuu glanced up, his gaze darting over Lucas. Then he took a breath. "Hey." Lucas paused. "What?" For a moment, Ryuu seemed like he wanted to say something important. Instead, he shrugged. "Never mind." He pushed off the wall, stepping past Lucas. Their shoulders nearly brushed, a fleeting static of energy crackling between them. Lucas felt his heart pound. Anger, annoyance, curiosity. He hated that in that split second, he'd noticed how Ryuu's eyes had a hint of gold in the brown, and how a faint scar near his left eyebrow gave him a roguish air. Snapping out of it, Lucas scoffed at his own reaction. Conflict with the team bet. As the weeks rolled on, Metro United's management grew concerned. Preseason was nearly over, and while both Lucas and Ryuu were shaping up to be individually impressive, their synergy was inconsistent at best. Coach Hassan and the assistant coaches arranged a private meeting with them in the staff office, an airy space with large windows facing the main stadium. Seated at the table, Lucas drummed his fingers on the polished surface. Ryuu sat across, arms folded, posture rife with tension. Hassan cleared his throat. "Gentlemen, we're about to start the official league season. The board has put significant faith in you both as a new dynamic duo. We need to address this hostility that's hindering our strategy." Lucas kept his gaze forward. "I don't have hostility," he said evenly. "I just think we need to be on the same page." Ryuu arched an eyebrow. "I do my best to adapt, but some people are stuck in their ways." Hassan sighed. "Here's the bottom line. The club's put a lot of eggs in this basket. Lucas, you've been integral to Metro United's success. Ryuu, the club scouted you because your flair can crack open tough defenses. We can't afford this rivalry overshadowing our teamwork." An uncomfortable silence spread. Hassan rummaged through a stack of papers. "We also have a sponsor event in a few days. The two of you are needed for some promotional material, interviews, photos, a meet and greet with fans." Lucas's expression hardened. Of course they want both of us front and center, he thought bitterly. He cut a quick glance at Ryuu, who seemed equally displeased. "Understood," Lucas said, exhaling. "We'll do what the club needs." Hassan's grimace softened. "We're all counting on you. Show the world you can make this partnership work. If you do, you'll be unstoppable." Friendship in the team, rivalry on the pitch. Outside of those two, the rest of the Metro United squad had become well aware of the tension. Some saw it as a natural part of integrating a foreign talent, while others hoped the friction would push them both to greater heights. In the locker room, a few of Lucas's longtime teammates teased him. Good-natured jabs about how the new kid was overshadowing the star. Lucas took it in stride, letting the banter slide off him. He was known for having thick skin, but Ryu's presence was indeed a thorn. Meanwhile, Ryu grew close with a couple of the younger players. His flashy nature and easy grin endeared him to them. Yet whenever talk turned to Lucas, a scowl replaced Ryu's smile. They were two alpha wolves circling the same territory. The sponsorship event. The day of the sponsor event arrived. A large section of the stadium was cordoned off to host a mini fan festival. Booths selling team merchandise, autograph stations, and a small stage for player interviews sprawled across the concourse. Children wearing Metro United jerseys bounced on their toes, waiting to get glimpses of their heroes. Lucas arrived in a tailored black club blazer, t-shirt, and dark jeans, still projecting an air of stoic professionalism. Soon after, Ryu strolled in wearing a bold jacket with neon highlights, hair styled up to accentuate that edgy, youthful vibe. Photographers snapped pictures, fans waved and shouted their names. Inside a private lounge, the marketing manager gave them instructions: do some promotional photos with the sponsor's product, then field a short Q&A session for social media. The photographer posed Lucas and Ryu side by side, handing them each a water bottle emblazoned with the sponsor's logo. "All right, you two, give us your best smiles." Lucas forced a half-hearted smirk. Ryu's grin was guarded, but at least he mustered something. Suddenly, the photographer said, "Now look at each other as if you're strategizing a big play. Real intense eyes, guys." Lucas turned, only to find Ryu's gaze locked onto him. It felt oddly personal. Ryu's eyes were warm brown, flecked with amber, and for a split second, the rest of the room faded. The heat that flared in Lucas's chest was startling, a sharp jolt that sizzled through his entire body. He pressed his lips into a firm line, forcibly reminding himself that this was a PR stunt. Click, click. The camera flashed. The staff murmured how stunning the shot was, the two forwards, polar opposites, exchanging a loaded glance. Next, they moved to the autograph booth for fans. A gaggle of teenage supporters bustled forward, each brandishing photos, soccer balls, and jerseys. Lucas signed quickly, politely, while Ryu laughed and chatted with them. A young boy, no older than 10, squeaked out how both of them were his idols. Lucas couldn't help the small smile that tugged at his lips, seeing Ryu ruffle the kid's hair in a gesture of genuine warmth. At the mini Q&A on stage, an interviewer asked typical questions: thoughts on the upcoming season, their personal journeys, what they thought of each other's playing style. The last question elicited a telling tension. Ryu answered first, carefully. "Lucas is an incredible striker, focused, powerful, consistent. There's so much to learn from him." Lucas recognized the attempt to be civil, so he returned the favor. "Ryu's footwork and creativity can break through tough defenses. He's talented." It was the faintest praise, but fans ate it up, cheering. For the first time, they managed a handshake on stage. The cameras flashed, capturing the moment. Under the bright lights, their eyes met yet again, and something unspoken flickered.